We just got a pretty interesting weekly close for Bitcoin, back above the crucial level of $112,000. Now, 112K is the previous all-time high, which was set earlier in the year, and so it's extremely important for us to stay above this level if we are to see continuation. In today's video, I'll be going over what I think could be happening next for Bitcoin and the rest of the crypto market. If you enjoy the content, make sure to smash that like button and subscribe. Without further ado, let's jump right into the video. So on the weekly time frame, you can see here that Bitcoin essentially retraced a lot of this bearish candle. We dropped all the way down to 108.7K. Meanwhile, Bitcoin closed above its previous all-time high, which was set in May of this year. So $112,000 has proven to be a very, very pivotal level for Bitcoin throughout this past year. If we continue to close above this level, then I would say that we could see a little bit more upside for Bitcoin. Now, my base case is still that I don't think we will just be exploding to all-time highs for here. The reasons are extremely clear, to me at least, because we need to go ahead and reclaim this level right here. There's a lot of ways that this price action can play out, but for me personally, I am not looking for longs at this level quite yet. I would actually flip my bias and consider going long if we can reclaim 113.9K, which is essentially where we closed at one of the highest points on Wednesday. Then we had the massive move down. If we start chopping up here and we can hold above this level and then springboard off, that's where I would consider going long for Bitcoin. But right now, I am essentially just sitting on my hands. 112K is extremely pivotal. We cannot ignore that fact. And you can see that over the past 24 hours, this was indeed a pretty decent close. That being said, if I had to give an estimate, I still think that these lows will be revisited before we make a new all-time high. Of course, I am a trader, not a fortune teller, and so if we get the confirmation above this level, I will likely be going long in this market. We need to get some daily closes above there. I wanted to also give you a quick update here on the 48-hour liquidation heat map. You can see that a lot of people have started to pile into longs, expecting that this was the bottom for Bitcoin. Now, this is very, very tricky price action to navigate, but so far we have got the direction correct. The question is this the up move that's going to bring us to new all-time highs, or are we going to end up getting rejected and just roll over to lower levels? I am personally favoring this at the moment, but if I am proven wrong, I will be switching my stance and going long for the last leg of this bull market cycle. That being said, we also need to take a look at this Bitcoin exchange liquidation map. Now, something very, very interesting is starting to show. On the one-day time frame, you can see that there is a lot more cumulative long liquidation leverage. It's also the same case for the 7-day time frame. Now, this is extremely interesting in my opinion because we had a bunch of bearishness and now all of a sudden, a lot of people are starting to shift long. You'll remember that in my previous video, there was approximately 2 times more cumulative short liquidation leverage in the market compared to cumulative long liquidation leverage in the market. And my general metric here is to try and see if we can get back above 3x to 5x. And then we look for confluence on the chart, and then I would go ahead and go long. However, because of this most recent pump in the last 24 hours at the weekly close that we just covered here, you can see that basically a lot more people started to pile into longs. And right now, it appears like we are relatively even here on the Bitcoin exchange liquidation map. Of course, there's a little bit more cumulative short liquidation leverage, but there's a massive spike here around 108.2K. So it would not surprise me if Bitcoin goes and revisits these levels. I still am leaning towards a move down before going up. Although I must say that we caught most of the move down, as I've been sharing on the channel. We went short just below $117,000, and I secured some more profits on my most recent Bitcoin short trade, which was shared in my free premium community. If you want to join that group, remember you do have the first link in my description down below. The only real requirement is that you sign up with one of my affiliate exchange links, whether that's Bluffin or Weeks, and you start trading on there as you normally would. The best thing as well is if you already have an account on these platforms, we can likely transfer you under me so you won't have to do anything. DM me the word premium on Telegram and I would be happy to onboard you. All you have to do is click this first link and then you click send message and there you go. DM me premium and we will onboard you into my free group. Basically, this group is my own personal trade setups if you didn't know already. Now you can see that I started to shave a little bit off the table off of my trades. We secured basically $100,000 in profit, and I'm keeping $44,000 in unrealized profit in case we go ahead and get that move lower, which I am currently favoring. That being said, I am not a fortune teller, as I've said before, and so it's important that you take profits on these trades, whether you're going long on the way up or whether you're going short on the way down. Always make sure to pay yourself first and secure those profits if you have them within a trade. Now, I also wanted to talk about the Bitcoin CME gap because you can see that we actually created a pretty big gap here below $111,000 down to around 110K. So it would not surprise me if we go ahead and fill this gap, as we always do. And while all this is happening, we got a pretty bullish weekly close for Bitcoin dominance. Again, you know my base case. I think that this will continue to grind higher and altcoins will be underperforming Bitcoin for this next little period here. I will be shifting my stance at some point and going aggressive into altcoins when I deem it is a proper altcoin season. So again, if you want to know when that is, remember to subscribe to the channel. And if you want more insights to my trades, again, you have my free Telegram community, which is the first link in my description down below. This is just going to continue, in my opinion, throughout October. We're likely going to see Bitcoin dominance just continue to grind higher. Minimum 62% would be my target here. And as I'm filming this video, you can also see that pre-markets are relatively green today. So let's see if this could positively impact Bitcoin. But back to the Bitcoin chart, we are struggling a little bit around $112,000. I mean, it makes a lot of sense because we have a lot of volume there. It's the previous all-time high set in May of 2025. But if we really zoom out here, what I think could be happening on the weekly time frame is the fact that Bitcoin could go ahead and tap into lower levels as early as this week. What I think we're actually seeing here is potentially a move like this. If you take a look at this prior weekly candle, we had a little bit of a longer wick to the downside, but we ultimately ended up rolling over, and then we saw a little bit of a reversal. Then we got another SFP, and we actually broke above this 8-year resistance trend line, which we've been tracking for quite some time, moved lower, again, a long wick to the downside, which got bought up basically on Sunday evening, and now I do think that it's likely that we go ahead and tap into these lows. Even if we go ahead and tap into these lows, which I am currently favoring, I do not think that the integrity of the bull market is broken, just to make myself extremely clear. And honestly, that's all I have for you today. I'm still longing Bitcoin dominance on Bluffin. Reminder, if you want to trade Bitcoin dominance, you do have that second link in my description down below. Whether you think I'm completely wrong and Bitcoin dominance will just capitulate, or if you think there's some more upside for Bitcoin dominance, you can actually go long or short on Bluffin. And as I wrap up this video, just to give you a brief summary of the scenarios that I think could be happening if I haven't made myself clear enough. If Bitcoin starts to reclaim around $114,000, I will have to start to look to shift my stance and consider going long, targeting new all-time highs. However, if Bitcoin just stalls out around these levels, which I think is more likely, then I will be looking for longs around this region. You have to remember that within this previous range here, the point of control is actually found right around $105,000. Give or take a few $1,000s as always for these big swing trades. But the best case scenario, and the scenario that I'm currently eyeing right now, is for Bitcoin to roll over, tap into these lows, then we get a little bit of a bounce again, and then we roll over further into this region. This is where I would be looking to go aggressively long on Bitcoin for the last leg of this bull market cycle. However, you have to make sure that you keep an open mind. So if we start to reclaim some higher levels, I will also consider going long. Ultimately, I am just looking to go long in this market since we printed from this most recent short. And that sums up today's video. As per my last videos, I am looking to go long in this market, but I am just waiting for the right opportunity to do so. Let's see what we get this week. We do have some pretty important economic data coming out, such as the JOLTS job opening, the non-farm payrolls, and of course, the unemployment rate. This will likely dictate what could happen to Bitcoin in the upcoming days and weeks. If you enjoy the content, make sure to smash that like button and subscribe, and I'll see you in tomorrow's video.